We want to take a moment to welcome everyone to the Watch This Shit podcast. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. My name is Seneca, the movie professor, and today I have my collaborator and cooperator here, Young Sam. Go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
Hey, it's Young Sam, aka the movie apprentice.
Yeah, that's right. And with this podcast, we're going to give you the definitive decision on whether you should go see a new movie or not. It's real easy. If we say, watch this shit, go out and enjoy some good cinema. If we say, don't watch this shit, avoid it as you would experiencing the deja vu of your impending death many times in a row. Or don't. You can do what you want. Keep experiencing the deja vu of your death. Huh? What the hell? I'm not interested in playing this game. You're not going to time to place me intro. I'm about to move on with the show and not experience the deja vu of your fuck this shit. You don't want to listen to us. You put your life in your own hands. Several of our recent reviews have seen us upset about being sold a movie that didn't exist. The movie today, while it has many problems, it never pretended to be something it wasn't. From the very first and only trailer, they let us know you are in for a treat. Well, if you are one of those people that gains enjoyment from watching the movies that are so bad people say they are good, but that really means that the shit is just fun to watch because it is still a bad movie, they got you covered. The trailer had bland wooden dialogue, poor CGI, an uninspired villain, and gave the premise of what the movie is about. They didn't fucking lie at all. On that front, I will commend them. This helped me prepare and was fair. I knew what it was and still went in. So anything that I got, that's on me. Today we are looking at Madame Webb, how to make a worse version of Final Destination and mix some Spider-Man in there because Sony has the rights to all the Spider-Man characters. Ooh, this story right here, the easiest way to describe it is, as I said, a dumber version of Final Destination, but with the side characters from Spider-Man's universe. So, Madame Webb, a D-list character by any stretch of the imagination, in the comics gets her own movie. In the comics, she's a supporting character in the Spider-Man mythos that assists Peter Parker with her clairvoyant powers. This film sees her as a younger version of that character in charge of protecting three other would-be spider power wielders against Ezekiel Sims. Another supporting character turned villain from the comic, who is much cooler in the comic. Here he's just a Terminator bent on killing the three potential Spider-Mans before they have a chance to destroy kill him. They begin a game of cat and mouse that sees Ezekiel using his visions to hunt them down and Webb using her visions to protect them from him. You know what? There is an interesting story in that description somewhere. The people that worked on this film just couldn't pull it out. Sony, are you okay? I've never seen a studio do so great with the property and so poorly. Same fucking company. Across the Spider-Verse. Best Spider-Man movie ever. Morbius and now Madame Webb. Worst Spider-Man movies ever. It's not just that they are bad movies that feature characters from Marvel Comics. It's that they are bad movies, period. I have been in love with Dakota Johnson, Hello Nurse, with her ass for a long time. Bad Times at the El Royale is a phenomenal work, and she's front and center. That movie has amazing storytelling, and more importantly, for Johnson, great direction on how she should deliver her lines. Her frame is amazing. She has the Hollywood look. Nobody can take that from her. But we know from the Shades of Grey movies, her delivery, especially her voiceovers, can leave a lot to be desired. A great director come in and say, hey, you beautiful bitch, say the lines like this so that you don't sound like a robot. You're not you're not playing a robot in this movie. Be a human. And then when she does, it's awesome. This film either had no one that cared or no one with the ability to tell the studio, maybe we should do this a little bit better. They just followed the exact same pattern they presented us with in Morbius. And we all know how that worked out. One of the worst movies of all time. My biggest gripe is that the aspect that makes the character of Madame Webb interesting and different is not explained soon enough or well enough. I can forgive the first one, as we should probably have an air of mystery on what's going on, as the character herself doesn't even know what's happening. The biggest sin is when it is revealed, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Her powers work similar to Peter's spider sense, but they possibly give her visions of what is to come. So realistic, they appear as if she's living in them. I just gave you a better explanation of what is going on than the movie does. They came up with some bullshit about her having the ability to be in multiple places at the same time. What the fuck does that have to do with her being able to see the future? I didn't have time to play with them. You know what? My popcorn that night was incredible. As soon as they started acting stupid on the screen, I just enjoyed some buttery, salty goodness. The movie had me stress eating in real time watching the movie. Now, young Sam said this is an open and shut case. He said we could simply sum this up as this is a bad movie, end of review. But I could go on forever about how meaningless this film is. You want your movie to have impact, a positive impact, I should say. Let me get to Ezekiel. In the comics, he is an older man that comes to mentor Peter in the ways of Spider-Manning. He comes out of nowhere and is able to do all these things that Peter, who has been Spider-Man from teenager to probably his mid-30s, has no idea that he could do with his abilities. The talented Michael J. Straczynski is responsible for creating the character, and that is probably why it has so much depth. Eventually, we learn that Ezekiel's motives are not altruistic, and he plans to use Parker to lure a villain bent on killing Spider-Mans away from himself. Here, he's not clearly defined at all. We don't know who the fuck this dude is. If you haven't read the comics, which be real, most people haven't, you would think he's just some generic guy created for the film. The way he is played is almost a point of frustration. The actor, you can tell, or I could tell, and I believe this to be true, but this is how it at least seemed, at the very least, that someone else was providing the voiceover, like a bad dub version of a movie. Think of a telenovela that has been translated into English. So the actor is trying to give the scene the same deadpan delivery as what they believe is happening in the native language, but is not fully in on the joke of why it worked there, but doesn't work here. All right. Just so it doesn't seem like I'm attacking this movie, Sam, let's jump this bitch. But let's start with the positive. Was there anything in here that you liked?
Dakota
Johnson, that motherfucker. Man.
That was really the only thing I liked about this movie. Yeah, Dakota.
And not even her acting, her look, right?
Yeah, look, because the acting was terrible. Like the voice, like when I was watching the movie in the beginning, like I was like, what am I hearing? Because it just sounded like off.
Mm-hmm.
Like something it just wasn't vibing right. Like her lines just were dull. It just, like I said, it was like a voiceover, but it was a bad voiceover. It was terrible.
Yeah, she does that. That's one of her things. I'm with you though. Her look is amazing. So was the Mexican chick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she was beautiful as well. She reminds me of a young Becky G. For anybody who wanted to know, yeah, I love Becky G. Her name is Isabella Merced, and I would be surprised if she makes it in the industry. I looked at her IMDb, and this bitch was in Transformers the last night. So yeah, anyone in that motherfucking movie doesn't deserve to work in Hollywood ever again, and that's including Anthony Hopkins' ass. Did you see Mike Epps get hit by that truck as hard as he would have if he hadn't cleared that little beef with Shannon Sharp?
They took that motherfucker out quick. I thought like when she was having those visions, I was like, okay, they gonna keep him in here. Nope. Get him out of here. He must have wanted too much money or something.
So he was in and out of that motherfucker like a burger. Yeah, he doesn't need to put this movie on his IMDb. Blink and you would have missed him.
It's like when he showed up, I was like, so is he gonna be in here like a long time or a short time? And my question was answered.
and in fast in fast response.
Mhm.
Short. The answer is short.
Mhm.
Tell the audience about the visual effects.
Oh, man, those spider people, boy, they was
Mm-mm-mm.
something else. That was just bad. The whole CGI, um, was was bad. The web at the end was bad. When when the guy jumped out, you remember it was Ezekiel at the end, and the fireworks were going off, and then like he
Yeah.
just jumped out the bottom. That made me think of Rey Mysterio.
Oh.
I
Popped up
expected
from
to
under the ring out of
I
nowhere.
expected to hear some booyaka booyaka six. I got excited for a little bit, then I remembered where I was.
You in this fucking movie. No, Rey Mysterio is not coming.
But the visuals, they weren't good. I mean, but it's typical Sony at this
Yeah.
point.
You know what? I'm gonna say something that sounds like a compliment, but it's definitely a backhanded one. The CGI in this film is a step up from The Flash.
Oh,
But just one tiny step up. I
Mm,
don't know why these properties rely so heavily on this shit when they're not gonna put everything into making it look good. If it's gonna look bad, don't do it. Figure something else out right around this shit. It's ugh.
animate that shit.
Right? Thank you. Yeah. Like Spider-Verse. It it works so well because you whatever. Keep doing what you're doing and see what happens. uh well, because of the deal between Sony and Marvel, Sony can use any Spider-Man character in their live action movies except Peter Parker.
Mm,
That's why all the characters here are dressed as Spider-Mans at some point in time, but you never hear the names of anyone call them Spider-Man.
mhm.
What they can't use, of course, like I said, is Peter Parker in the form that he is in the MCU. It's super complicated. And that's one reason why Venom, the character that relies on Parker the most for his creation, doesn't have any mention of the character at all. Ugh. They put all this shit in there. Did you think that the Peter Parker ness of it even needed to be in here?
This movie didn't need to exist.
Good. That's
So
first of all. That's
it they just took a character, Madame Webb, make a movie, make it make sense, but it didn't make sense. So no, like it. No, I'm just no,
Yeah,
no.
it frustrated me. They brought up everything to do with him, his parents, his aunt and uncle, even the tragedy of what happened to his parents, and was not able to use Peter Parker.
Did you in that lame Uncle
Yep.
Ben speech they gave? I was like,
Uh-huh.
"Ain't this some?" And they just switched to like a couple words around. I was like, "Ain't this
Yeah.
some shit?"
Uh-huh. You're going to have great power. So with that will come no, stop. Stop.
I was like,
Stop.
"Ain't this a bitch?"
Stop. You stole that from Uncle Ben.
Mhm.
And the guy that played Uncle Ben, damn, I can't think of his name. I didn't write it in my script. I don't like him. He's Amy Poehler's boyfriend in Parks and Rec, right? He's
Oh,
I think it's not Ben Schwartz. I hate Ben Schwartz as well, but
oh, I know
he's
you're
also
talking.
on the same show. Uh-huh. Anyway,
Yeah.
he plays Uncle Ben, or the guy that will eventually become Uncle Ben, right? And
Mhm.
I've seen him do good work. Severance on Apple TV
Mhm. They say it's
is
good.
amazing. Oh my god, it's good as fuck. Yeah.
Oh, Adam Scott.
Adam Scott. That's his name. Yeah, I don't like him. But I love that show. I love that show on Apple. He just has a smug little swarmy face. Get off the TV. I don't want to see you. All right. Sony is crazy. They are they are not letting the situation with them not having the rights to use Peter Parker stop them from trying this bullshit. I don't think they learned anything from the disaster of Amazing Spider-Man 2. They were trying so hard to set up a connected universe and get all these spin-off movies, and it didn't work. Nobody wants to see these fucking characters. Nobody wants to see Madame Webb in her own movie. Nobody wants to see Morbius. Nobody wants to see Venom without the precursor of him being created because of Spider-Man's symbiotic suit. The fuck are we doing? If you make the movies well, it will gain everything it deserves. I wish I could come to just a couple of their weekly staff meetings just to hear these dumbass ideas. How are they getting approved and how are they getting the team to buy in? If I could figure that out, I could fucking take over the world. Sam, you got anything else you want to bring up before I close this shit?
Oh man, no. I thought that this was gonna be like a Captain Marvel thing where everybody else hated it, but we liked it. But we just like everybody else on this one. This is a typical Sony movie outside of Homecoming, outside of the Peter Parker realm. It's typical Sony Marvel BS. And I always look and it says in association with Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that they could just end that association because these movies are terrible. And please don't pull a Morbius and re-release this.
Right?
It was a joke, Sony.
It was a joke. They didn't get it.
It was a joke. So
final verdict. Don't watch this shit. If you want to watch a good time displacement movie, watch Groundhog Day, Edge of Tomorrow, and Palm Springs. If you want to watch good Spider-Mans, watch the 2 Spider-Verses. If you want to watch a good Final Destination movie, well, they haven't made that shit yet. But keep waiting. Eventually, they might get you one. Sam, you want to give your take?
Oh, yeah. Don't watch this at all. Don't rent it. Don't waste your money on it.
Don't even download it.
Don't download it. Don't pirate it. It's not worth it. The characters uninteresting. The way she got her powers was uninteresting. The ending was stupid. How she became blind was stupid. These 3 random kids was stupid. I could go on and on, but don't watch it.
Do not watch it. Yeah, and we were texting earlier, and you talked about the climax of the film, how it was about
fucking
CPR.
CPR. Like, that is the best you could come up with.
That's what you came up with. That's what's going to bring the team together.
I expected to hear Another One Bites the Dust. I was like, okay, so they're going to start playing Another One Bites the Dust because CPR. Right. But no, we got Britney Spears Toxic. Stupid.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
No, there's just so much wrong with this movie.
It is. It's yeah. Yeah. The more I think about it, the more it angers me.
Yeah, let's wrap this up because I don't want to talk about this no more.
All right, let's go. Thank you for listening to another episode of Watch This Shit. You come here for the realest take on new movies. So make sure you follow us so you're not left in the dark on whether you should check out a new movie or not. If you haven't seen this shit yet, go on about your life. Don't even worry about it. Matter of fact, you're doing good. Damn, you're doing good. Check us out next time when we review Bob Marley, One Love. And good day to you.